Hey guys, Martin Mentor here, back with another video. All right, so this video I want to talk about lines of credit and business loans. All right, this is something that I haven't talked about. I've never talked about financing. Um, I really don't want to talk about it now, but I think now is a good time to talk about it because we may be in a situation where line of financing and business loans may be needed for some people on a case-to-case basis. Um, but I'm gonna give you two companies that I've worked with in the past. All right, I'm not gonna promote or tell you about any company I haven't used when it comes to money. All right, and I'm also gonna give you a disclaimer. All right, when you're borrowing money or when you're using lines of credit, you got to do it, be smart about it. All right, be smart about it. Don't use something that you don't need, and don't bite off more than you can chew, because people will run to get a loan or they'll get a business line of credit and they may need a certain amount, but then they get approved for this amount, and even though they don't need this amount, they need this amount. They end up getting that money and they think they got some breathing room, it's a breath of fresh air, and then they find ways to use this amount, and then they put themselves into a bigger jam that they already in. And borrowing money and using business lines of credit aren't always for when you're in a tough situation and you need that breathing room. Sometimes you're in a situation where you just want to use other people's money to purchase an asset, some new equipment, or what have you. So my disclaimer is, I'm going to give you two companies that I've used for lines of credit. I don't do loans. I've used lines of credit in the past, all right, to purchase equipment, because I don't like to use my money to purchase. I'd rather leave my money in the bank, use somebody else's money, let that equipment pay the line of credit back. And I'm going to explain to you the difference between a business line of credit and a business loan. It's a big difference, all right? So that's the disclaimer, all right? There's going to be people that need money, and there's going to be people that need money to expand, all right? So when you apply, everybody's situation is different. Some people may get approved for this much. Some people may get approved for this much. Some people may get approved for this much. Some people may not get approved at all. Some people may get approved for this much and only need this much, but that doesn't go mean use this much, because you can use this much, build a business out with that money that you're not mentally, financially, or knowledgeably prepared to run. So that's my disclaimer. Proceed with caution when you're dealing with borrowing money. All right, I'm not just going to tell you something and not tell you the wins without telling you the pitfalls of it too. That's the importance of being a good teacher, a good educator, when you're educating something in a field that you consider yourself an expert on. All right, so with that disclaimer out the way, let's get into it. All right, so let's get started. All right, the first company I want to talk about is OnDeck. All right, so once again, I'm going to talk about two different companies when you're sourcing funding. Both of these companies have used in the past. All right, so the first company I ever used when I wanted to source some funding many years ago, it was 2014. It was OnDeck. All right, they were a fairly new company then. They've grown to a larger company now. When you're starting a business, all right, banks aren't going to look at you. They're not even going to talk to you unless you've been in business 2 years. All right. Even when you've been in 2 years, a traditional bank is still probably going to turn their back to you. All right. That's just the way it is. It's even worse now. All right. Because of everything that's going on with the economy. So if you're in a situation where you need funding, you need a source of funding, and you haven't been in business 2 years, in most cases, you got to turn to like a hard money lender. But because now the way things are, you have companies that are that promote uh, funding sources for new small businesses. All right. So this first company, OnDeck, back then they would let you apply if you had been in business a minimum of 6 months. I believe it's a year now. All right. So they offer two different types of funding. All right. Before we get into this, they're not paying me for this. This is a company that I've used in the past, so I'm letting you know, but I also gave you the disclaimer. I'm giving it to you again. Proceed with caution. All right. if you need money, then this may be a source. Don't bite off more than you can chew. All right. They offer two forms of funding. All right. A line of credit and then a loan, a term loan. I'm going to explain the difference between the two. All right. A line of credit, you apply. You apply, let's say they approve you for, let's make the math easy, 100 grand. Now that 100 grand is sitting in an account. You got to log into that account. And that money is there. You're approved for 100 grand. So you have 100 grand at your disposal whenever you need it. It's not put into your business banking account. It's approved. It's sitting on a dashboard that you can log in. And when you need that money, you can draw it down and transfer it to your bank account. Excuse me. Now, you don't have to draw the whole 100 grand. Let's say you need 5,000. You can withdraw 5,000, send that 5,000 into your bank account. Now you still got 95,000 line of credit still sitting there at your disposal when you need it, and you've taken 5,000 out. 5,000 has been transferred to your business bank account. You're only going to pay interest on the $5,000 that you took out of that line of credit, based on the whatever the interest rate is over the period of time that it takes you to pay it back. Excuse me. So you pull that 5,000, you use it for whatever you need it for. You start paying that 5,000 back. Let's say you put back 3,000 in, right? Now you got 98,000 back in there that you can use at your disposal, but you still owe 2. But you know what? You need 10,000 for something now. You pull 10,000 out. Now you owe 12,000, right? And your balance for you to pull from now is 88,000. So it's a revolving line of credit. The money is there when you need it. You pull from it as you need it, and you pay it back. You pay it back. You pay it back. Now, a term loan is like a traditional loan. You apply. They say, okay, you've been approved for 100 grand. Let's say they're going to give you a time to pay it back. Let's say, well, here it says up to 24 months, right? So that's 2 years, and they're gonna loan you 5 to 250,000. So whatever they loan you, you got a term to pay it back. They're giving you all the money up front. It's a lump sum. They're giving it to you up front, and then you got up to 2 years or 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, whatever the term they give you to pay it back. You got to pay it back. I'm pretty sure it's with a higher interest rate because they're giving you cash up front. All right. Now, me, if I, what I've done is I've used lines of credit because that money is sitting there. If I need it, it's there when I need it. The work has been done. We've applied. We've been approved. So if we get into a jam, or if we want to go buy something, the equipment or something, that money is there. We don't have to go apply and wait and go through the process. It's there. We can pull from it and have and go do what we need to do. This right here, you got to go through the process. All right. It's a quicker process than a traditional bank, but you're also going to be paying a higher interest rate than the traditional bank too, because it's a short term. I consider it hard money. They don't consider it hard money. I consider it a hard money loan. And for those that you don't know what a hard money loan is, imagine borrowing some money from like the mob or something. You're going to have a higher interest rate, and it's going to hurt you if you don't pay them back. All right. Now, you're probably asking, well, what type of collateral do I put up? All right, here's a good thing about business. I'm going to teach you something and get some sauce. All right. When you're a business and you're borrowing from a company like this, your collateral is your future receivables. Well, Mark, what's my future receivables? Your future receivables are your future income. All right. They're loaning you money based off your future receivables. In order to apply, obviously, it's going to require that you show your bank statements. They may want to see your bank statements for the past 3 months. They may want to see your bank statements for the past 6 months. They may want to see your bank statements for the past 12 months. And then they're going to tally up an average of how much money you make. And then depending on what the average of how much money you make is going to determine how much money they're going to give you. And they're loaning you money based off your future receivables. Now, they got different ways they'll give you this hard money. I call it hard money. All right. They may say you pay them back once a month. Some of them may do a daily debit. Well, Mark, what's a daily debit? A daily debit is they loan you 10 grand, right? And they say, you know what? We're loaning you 10 grand. You got to pay us back in 6 months. And in 6 months, we loan you 10. You got to pay us back 13.5. And we're going to deduct every Monday through Friday we're going to deduct $150 out your bank account. We're not going to deduct anything Saturday and Sunday and holidays. So in 6 months, you got to repay us $13,500. We're charging you $3,500 for that 10, and we're going to deduct $150 every day. You're going to see a debit of $150 from OnDeck until it's paid back in approximately 6 months. You can log into the dashboard. You're going to see a little thing, 91% paid, 2% paid, 3% paid, 4%, all the way until it's paid off in 100%. And you're going to see the transactions. I don't suggest it. All right. You get money taken away every day. Yeah, you might not feel it depending on how you operate, what type of money you got coming in, but it is, I don't suggest it. If your credit is a little bit stronger, they may give you a monthly payment, but that's kind of risky to them. They want to see money every day because technically to them, you're high risk. And if you put yourself in their shoes as a lender, in traditional situations, a person that's been in business less than a year or up to a year is high risk. All right. So they want to see that money every day. Me personally, business lines of credit, you pull the money when you need it. And then I go back to my disclaimer, don't pull what you don't need. If your credit is strong and they approve you for, let's say, 100,000, and the only reason you're applying for a business line of credit is for in cases of emergency. If your emergency is, let's say you got a truck and let's say it breaks down and you need repairs of $4,000 and you just don't have $4,000, you got $100,000 line of credit, you go pull 4,000. All right, you still got 96 sitting there. You pull the 4,000. They say, okay, this is your interest rate. You can pay it back over the term of 12 months. Whatever you pull, they're giving you 12 months to pay it back on that line of credit at a specific interest rate. All right. You only needed to pay for those repairs. Just because that 96,000 is sitting doesn't mean, you know what, I can go buy another truck with this and put another driver in there. Or I can, with the money there, man, let me take my family on vacation. See, this is what happens with people. They get into a jam because that money is sitting there and they may be working, they may be getting by, but they got 96 sitting over there. But just getting by just ain't enough. So then they get to dibbling and drawing that money. In the mind thinking they're going to put it back. They drawing, thinking they're going to put it back. The more you draw, the more you owe in a short period of time at a certain interest rate. And then you run into a real jam and now it's hard to pay that money back. For instance, imagine drawing that type of money down and then you run into an economic situation like we're in now, where the work is just not there. It's just not plentiful. You only pull what you need. Or if you're in a situation where, let's say, your business is doing fair and you have a dedicated, you can want to go buy another truck. What I use business line of credit for in the past was to buy trucks. Yeah, I can go take my money, right, and buy a truck cash. Like I always say, I've only bought 2 vehicles new. Everything I bought was always used. All right. And I've always played cash on hand. You know what I'm saying? Get it out the way. The money was there. Let me get it out the way. All right. So in some situations, I've used my money, but then in most cases, I use the line of credit. Okay. I go buy, let's say, make the math easy, a 16-footer, right? It's $7,900 back when I was buying them. You know what I'm saying? With 175,000 miles, I was buying 16-footers from the dealer for $7,900. All right. Boom. I'll pull out 10 grand from my line of credit, right? That truck is going to pay for itself in a month. I take that 10 grand, give him 8,000, right? At the dealer, buy the truck, right? Got that other money sitting there. Okay. So what that does, it allows me to keep my money in the bank so I can see it in the bank, withdraw from that line of business credit, and the truck is going to pay that line of credit back. That truck going to pay itself for itself in a month. So the truck ain't paying me back, it's paying back the line of credit. And I got 12 months. I'd rather the truck pay the line of credit back than me taking my money. I want to leave my money in where it's at, making money. Because I'm moving my money around. I'm playing with different things so my money can make money. You see what I'm saying? That's why I use lines of credit, and I don't bite off more than I can chew. I don't use it now; it's just sitting there. But then I've always had the fear of getting into a jam. See, I know what it's like not to have. I know what it's like not to have, and I know what it's like. I don't ever want to be in that position, and I'm not going to put myself in that position, biting off more than I can chew. Because trust me, that money sitting there is sitting there, sitting there. It takes a strong mind not to go touch something that you don't need. Just because it's sitting there, don't mean touch it. And I'm gonna keep reiterating this because there's gonna be somebody out there that's gonna go apply and they're gonna get approved and they're gonna screw themselves over. All right. And I don't want nobody to go do that. All right. It's going to be somebody there that really needs the money because they need that breathing room. Let's talk about breathing room. There's people out there that just need some breathing room. Let's get out of truck and say you running a business, a storefront, and the roof collapsed. You got to get a new roof. Roof costs a lot of money. Okay, boom. You take some of this money and you use it to replace your roof. It gives you a little breathing room because if you would have used your money, that would have tapped you out. But now this gives you a little breathing room. You can breathe a little bit. It helps you out because you got 12 months to pay it back. All right. And then you have to realize, look, this isn't a savior. This money has to be paid back. So if you see yourself in a fickle and you use it for some breathing room, don't bite off more than you know that you can't go out and find other resources to pay this money back. All right. So that's the difference between a line of credit and a term loan. I've dealt with lines of credit because to me it's a better business decision because I'm only pulling what we need. We only pulling what we need, and then we paying that back, and it's ready to go if we need it versus hard money, daily debits, and all that. This will get you into trouble quicker than this will for people who aren't strong minded. All right. So this is OnDeck. They offer these two options. All right. Now here's another option, which is Cabbage. All right. We've used Cabbage. Cabbage only deals with lines of credit. All right. I think they used to do term loans. I don't think they do it no more. They used to do 6 months. Now they do a year minimum in business. All right. You apply, same situations pretty much as far as requirements. Let's go here for funding. All right. All right. Apply for business line of credit. If approved, right now they're giving you an extra 200. All right, they're running a promotion. Since the last time we used it, American Express has purchased Cabbage. So American Express owns this company. They were independent back the last time we used them. We've just used them for lines of credit. All right, lines of credit, lines of credit. Lines of credit. That's it. That's it. That's all. That's all they offer now. That's the only package they offer. So same thing, you know what I'm saying? If you need a line of credit to purchase some equipment, I think we used it one time. I got the warehouse, so we needed a forklift. That was some equipment. We used a line of credit to get a forklift. I think that's what we used it for Cabbage, and then the business paid that line of credit back. Obviously, the stronger your line of credit gets, the more money they give you. All right, they're gonna always push you to pull more because that's how they make money. They want you to always owe them. See, that's the flip coin on the line of credit because you pull what you need, and as you pay it back, that money replenishes itself. You can pull it again. They always want you to utilize that money because that's more money they make. They want you to use it. They're praying that you pull it. But if you don't need it, don't use it. You know what I'm saying? So they offer business lines of credit. Both of them, I can say are decent company. I haven't had any issues with them as far as unfair business practices. Of obviously, Cabbage was a really good company that American Express bought them. So American Express wouldn't have bought a company that the business model didn't seem shady. You know what I'm saying? So these two companies are good for businesses who can't go and get traditional loans or lines of credit from obviously larger institutions, Bank of America, Chase. things of that nature. All right, so that's credit sourcing, or funding sourcing, I should say. All right, funding sourcing. Obviously, when you're running a business, you do want to have, some source of funding. You want to have your business credit cards, but you also want to have capital when you need it. So business lines of credit, and then your term loans. Now, as your business matures and you have years in the business, you have credibility, you can obviously go to a traditional bank if you want to and get a better business line of credit, or if you need a loan. Obviously, those rates are going to be a lot better if you go to a bank and get a business line of credit or a loan. And that's what I would advise you to do. But if you're a new business, which I know a lot of people are, these are options for businesses that are under the requirement level for traditional banks, because the bank they're not going to even talk to you until you've been in business 2 years. All right. So there you have it. Make sure you guys proceed with caution when you're dealing with funding, because I've seen a lot of people get into jams, and when they're dealing with money, a lot of times they'll offer you a lot more than what you expect, and money is the root of all evil. So with that being said, you guys know where to find me: www.boxtruckcourses.com for your mentorship with me, Mark the Mentor. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with all the upcoming videos. And I'm out.
Como, showboat, rowboat, wave ride. Cool shorty, too naughty, pool party, wet for the face ride. Annie up, penny down, hand me down, thrift store, old drip. New money, too funny, old shorty, talk about, oh shit.